This is MTG Burgeoning, and in this video we are going to make some changes to our Morphin the Boundless Rat Colony EDH deck. We've got a stack of cards going in, a stack of cards coming out, and a change of leadership as it pertains to who sits in the command zone. Thank you for joining us for another installment of the Up and Up series. Today we are going to update and upgrade our Morphin the Boundless Rat Colony EDH deck. And as mentioned, we are going to change the commander of this deck. So at the conclusion of this video, no longer will this deck be helmed by Morphin the Boundless. We found a much more suitable commander, and we're going to talk about exactly who that is right now. The first change that we're going to see is Nashi, Moon's Legacy, is going to come in and take the spot of Morphin the Boundless. So let's review what Nashi does here and how it pertains to strengthening and enhancing this Rat Colony build. So we've got Nashi, who is a 3/4 legendary rat shaman with menace and ward 1, and whenever Nashi, Moon's Legacy, attacks, we exile up to one target legendary or rat card from our graveyard and copy it. We may cast the copy. The legendary card, the legendary portion of this ability is not as important as the rat card, particularly when it pertains to any of the cast triggers that, I don't know, may ripple 4 for our spells as it pertains to having Thrumming Stone on our side of the battlefield. Nashi just fits better what we're trying to do with this deck, and that is to get as many rats into play as quickly as possible, swarm our opponents, and then claim the W. And it also should be pointed out that prior to this change in leadership with Nashi going in and Morphin coming out, the entirety of this deck was nearly a Sultai build anyways, except for one spell. There was one spell in this deck with white, so the overall 99 is not going to change drastically at all with this transition. More than anything, this is going to help us streamline our colors and make this Rat Colony deck even more powerful. So Nashi's going in, Morphin, you're coming out. We will not miss the Anthem effect that Morphin provided our rats with the +1/+1, and we will not sorely miss the mana cost reduction of the 1 black mana in rat spells we cast, solely because we have other ways to dance around losing that ability. So Nashi's in, Morphin's out, and the deck is going to become stronger because of it. Now, with the one card that was going in, with Nashi now becoming the commander, the one card with white in its mana cost that has to come out. Oh, that's the wrong one. All right, we showcased. Where did that go? Oh, yeah, that's right. This is the pile going in. So I just pretty much revealed everything that's going in. All right, so let's just back it up here. All right, here we go. So Karamonix is going in, taking the place of the one card that had white in the mana value, which was Immortal Servitude. So Immortal Servitude was in this deck as a way in which to bring our rats back into play from the graveyard by only spending a total of 5 mana to do so. But because we're no longer running white, Immortal Servitude, which was the only non-Sultai colored card in the build, has to come out. But we have a lot of other graveyard interactions, including the little ability we have here with Nashi, not as impactful as Immortal Servitude could be, but still, it is definitely going to help out with some graveyard recursion. So Immortal Servitude is going to come out, and that is going to be replaced by Karamonix the Rat King. Here we have another legendary rat. It's a 3/3 for 1 and 2 black. It has Toxic 1, and it gives other rats we control Toxic 1 as well. So whenever players are dealt damage by a creature with Toxic, it also gets a poison counter. So by putting Karamonix into this deck, we are giving ourselves another win condition in the form of poison counters. Once a player gets 10 poison counters, they lose the game. And as an additional bonus, Caramonics, when it comes into play, we look at the top 5 cards of our library, and we may reveal any number of rat cards from among them and put them into our hand. So not only does Caramonics give us an alternate win condition, but it fills our hand with rats, and let's face it, with our rat colonies only having mana values of 1 and 1 black mana, we are going to fly through casting them very, very quickly. So any way that we can get more gas into our hand, Caramonics is going to help us do that, and he's going to be a great addition to the 99 of this build. All right, so all we have left are just some lands and some mana ramp to help us, more streamline with our Sultai colors. So going in, we have Nature's Lore. We all know what Nature's Lore is. We're going to search our library for a forest card, and we're going to put that card onto the battlefield. That's going in. Elemental Bond is going to come out. This is just one of many, many card drawing effects that we have in this build. So what we're doing here is we're slightly weakening our card draw for the purposes of ramping out our mana so that we can get rats into play more quickly, and then we still have all of those additional card drawing outlets. Taking out Elemental Bond is not going to hurt the overall deck. Putting Nature's Lore in is going to help us to thin out our deck with lands, in addition to fixing our mana, ramping our mana, and just setting ourselves up for more success. You can check the deck list if you don't believe me. We have a lot of other card drawing outlets. Elemental Bond will not be missed. So with that coming out, Nature's Lore going in. And the rest are just going to be some lands that are going to help us to strengthen the overall mana base of the build. Coming out is the check land of Drowned Catacombs. Comes into play untapped as long as we control an island or a swamp. With so many ways in which to fix our mana, a lot of those options, Command Tower being one, Reflecting Pool, they don't really have the swamp or island card type to ensure that Drowned Catacomb comes into play untapped. Shipwreck Marsh, that comes into play untapped as long as we control 2 or more other lands. Doesn't matter what the lands are. Shipwreck Marsh better than Drowned Catacomb. So that's going to be another change to the deck. And the same can be said for Woodland Cemetery being replaced by Undergrowth Stadium. Again, Woodland Cemetery is our Golgari check land, so that's going to have the same attributes as Drowned Catacomb, except Woodland Cemetery needs a forest or a swamp. Undergrowth Stadium is our Golgari fan land. That comes into play tapped as long as we have at least 2 opponents. So as long as we're not in a 1v1 situation and we draw Undergrowth Stadium needing it to come into play untapped, I think we're going to be okay with this change. Next up, and this is just a way in which to help fix our mana by getting as many different color mana sources as possible, Rejuvenating Springs, which is our Simic fan land, is going to go in and just replace a basic forest. Same thing with Morphic Pool. Morphic Pool is our Dimir fan land, and that's going to go into play, and that's going to go into the deck to replace a basic swamp. After that, now that we know that we have a full dedicated Sultai build, we're going to take out a couple of our not so strong mana producing lands and replace them with, let's face it, with some fetch lands to help us thin our deck, fix our mana, and get exactly what we need to have on our side of the battlefield so that our Rat Colony engine revs as quickly as possible. So with Verdant Catacombs and Misty Rainforest Forest going in, Tainted Wood and Tainted Isle are both coming out. Now, if anyone who's unfamiliar with this Tainted series back from the days of Torment, these tap for a colorless mana, or they can tap for one of 2 different colors of mana, but we can only activate that second ability if we have a swamp. So, I mean, it's likely that we would have a swamp, but is it always a guarantee? No, it's not. Would I rather have a Misty or a Verdant in my hand to seek out maybe a Zagoth Triome or to seek out one of the shock lands and I know can give me the mana that I need? Yeah, I would probably want that. So with the changes that we're making, knowing that we're definitely streamlining towards Sultai, we want to fix our colors more appropriately. So those 2 fetch lands are going to go in, and coming out will be the 2 tainted lands. Again, what we're doing with these changes to this deck is we're making a change at Commander, which will be a better overall fit for what we're trying to do with our rat colonies, and then we're just making our overall land base better. And I think we accomplished that in this video, and I look forward to testing the results. All right, so if you like what you see here, let me know in the comment section below. If you don't like what you see, let me know too. Let's strike up a conversation so that we can have Nashi lead these rat colonies into one victory after another. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things Magic.